Hello, Sharks, and happy Saturday. I had a great run this morning as well as a good haircut. Have to recommend Big Z at the Chop Shop, a local shop that does a great job in the old traditional style of barbershops. And now I'm ready to welcome an old friend, an ex-Sharks employee and coach over for dinner. Many of you remember Mr. Art Walker. He and his family are here visiting from Arizona. So exciting day for all of us. This week I invited our Associate Principal, Mrs. Eagleson, to join me in welcoming you to the second quarter of the 2020-2021 school year and the first week of a truly hybrid learning system. The 3-week pilot culminated with great joy and great learning by all, and not just academic learning, but learning about life at school under the current pandemic. We are ready to welcome all of you back. And now, here's Mrs. Eagleson.
Hello, Sharks. We are so excited that as we close quarter one and open quarter two, we get to also return to in-person learning and reopen our classrooms. We'd like to share some information with you. Before Monday, make sure to communicate with each other regarding the return to campus or the choice to stay in distance learning. Students may be asked the question as to why, and them having the language to answer those questions will make it easier for them. All students need to make sure they have all their own belongings: books, calculators, pens, pencils, paper, etc. On Monday morning, please make sure you add extra time to your day to ensure that students have the time to get through the temperature check and they have the time to pick up the paper copy of their schedule. Previous copies of the schedule did not include classroom assignments. Students also need to think ahead regarding the bathroom use. In the mornings, during breaks, and at lunch, they will need to get to the restroom as they will not be allowed to use the bathroom during class time. How will teachers help keep classrooms and students healthy? Teachers will facilitate the wiping down of desks. Additional time was built into the passing periods to allow for the wiping down of desks, the delayed exiting and entering of classrooms, as well as bathroom use, and the one-way walking path on campus. Additionally, very few classrooms will be shared by multiple teachers. Therefore, it reduces the number of students in a classroom and the number of students sharing desks. Purchase of a fogger will allow for much more quick cleaning of classrooms and the sanitization. The fogger, however, will not remove items from the surface of things like desks. Therefore, the wiping down of the desks, removing eraser crumbs or paper will be important. What happens if teachers or students display symptoms of COVID-19? They are expected to stay home. Students and teachers who are able will be expected to continue in distance learning. If a teacher is off campus and teaching, an adult supervisor will be in the classroom with the on-campus students. Students and teachers who are unable to continue in distance learning due to illness will have the opportunity to work together to make things up. Teachers who are out due to illness will have a substitute placed into their classroom so the students will continue with curriculum. How will social distancing and mask wearing be enforced? All employees will be expected to enforce the expectations. Redirect students who are not following them. Students, please know that if an employee, even when you don't know, is short with you or very direct in their statement, it is no reflection on you or your relationship with that employee. It's simply that we need you to follow the rules. We love you, that's why we're here, and that's why we chose this profession. But using short, clear statements to tell you to move or wear a mask is our job to keep you and your classmates healthy. Do doors need to remain open? We have a new air filtration system that does not require the doors remain open, although teachers may choose to do so. Therefore, students are asked to make sure they have extra layer of clothing, and students are allowed to remain in sharkwear for the remainder of the semester. What does approximately 6 feet between desks mean? It means we used a PVC pipe at 6 feet long, and from the seat of each student desk created a radius to ensure that the desks were no closer than approximately 6 feet. What will the routine be for bathroom use? Each bathroom will have a posted maximum number of students. Office staff and administration will help monitor the bathroom usage between classes and at lunch, before and after school. However, students will be highly discouraged from using bathrooms during during class time. Classroom procedures. Each teacher will explain to students what they need to do, where to line up before and after class, and how to navigate the entering and exiting of the classrooms. Students will not be allowed to eat or drink in classrooms, as they will be required to wear their mask inside the entire time. Students need to make sure that they have all their own belongings and follow the procedures as stated by their classroom teachers. Students will be given a supply pack. It has a St. Francis Sharks mask as well as a handful of standard masks. Additionally, pen, paper, pencil, sharpener, ruler, eraser. It's suggested that students also make sure that they have their own calculator and maybe a small stapler, and additionally their own textbooks. Classroom procedures. If students are paired or groups, the teachers may use outside space. They may have students work together in groups with one student per group, one student who's in distance learning per group, or have all of the distance learning students in the same group. Teachers may require that students leave the room to use a tissue, or if they anticipate a sneeze or a cough. We will do all we can to keep all students healthy. Will teachers be allowed to be within 6 feet to monitor student progress or work with a student? Yes. Teachers may linger at a desk to help a student. Students and teachers both need to communicate regarding the use of shared things like a touchscreen or a keyboard to ensure that both parties are comfortable and remain healthy. How many students will be in each classroom? Most standard classrooms have between 18 and 22 student desks. Classes that are bigger will be moved to the gym, into B4, or to E1, otherwise known as the art room. In particular, and we are blessed with the opportunity to have lots of the freshmen return to campus. So a number of the freshman classes will be placed into E1. In E1, they will have assigned seats, as some students have 4 or even 5 classes in that classroom. Having classes in that classroom is a benefit. Having most of the freshmen in that classroom for many classes is a benefit, as it has 2 sinks to allow students to not just use hand sanitizer, but to wash their hands. It is near a bathroom, so they do not need to spend their passing period walking very far. And additionally, it significantly reduces the number of students in the room, the number of desks those students will be sharing with other students. How will equipment be used? Teachers have been working through this and using newly installed cameras and AirPods to allow them to communicate with the students who are at home. Wednesday's workshop on October 14th allowed teachers to practice and talk through best practices. How will tutorial change? Tutorial will be on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday from 8 to 8:35. And students who are in distance learning, it may be challenging to navigate that tutorial time. Please communicate with your teachers and your classmates and do the best you can. However, on Wednesdays, we have converted the Wednesday schedule back to office hours. We anticipate that those will be terrific opportunities for the students who remain in distance learning to communicate with their teachers. During class, teachers may assign a student to help monitor the chat room and a student to take pictures and send them to the students who remain in distance learning. Giving tests is going to be a challenge that teachers have talked through for many, many weeks now. We want to ensure that all families talk through the importance of academic integrity, as some students at home and students on campus will have different scenarios during tests. Some teachers have talked about having all students do a take-home test, all students take a test, changing the way that students take the tests or the tests are structured. Additionally, they may have students who remain in distance learning take the test at a different time so the teacher can more closely monitor them through GoToMeeting. We believe that the accommodations given and used with students in distance learning are similar to those given to students who have learning differences. They may not all be exactly the same, but we will do all we can to ensure that it is fair. What happens with shared equipment, lab equipment? In some cases, students at home will need to take the data or the description of the lab work from their classmates who are in person. Equipment that is shared needs to be sanitized. This includes art classes, PE classes, and science and computer classes. Teachers and students will need to communicate and make sure that they listen regarding the instruction on shared equipment. PE classes, teachers will still expect students to be in PE clothes, but they will not be allowed to use the locker rooms to change before and after class. Therefore, students expected to be in PE clothes, you can wear it to campus because you will be in shark wear every day through the rest of the semester. Students will not be allowed to hang out during classrooms, during lunch or break, and we know that's disappointing for both students and teachers, but until further notice, students will need to remain outside during lunch. Wednesday parent meetings will still continue. Please stay tuned and listen, check your email for the Monday or Tuesday invitations. Report cards, Friday, October 16th was the last day of the first quarter. Grades will be processed and they will be distributed via a RenWeb fax email. In the email will be a link to the quarter one grades. Please know that quarter one grades function more like a progress report. And by the time the parent clicks through to look at the link, it is likely that the teacher has entered additional grades and that grade will no longer exist in the grade book. Additionally, teachers may distribute updated syllabus because now that we are in we have moved away from distance learning, the weighting of category grades and procedures may change. Parent-teacher conferences are set aside for Monday, October 26th. More information will follow, but all of those will be set up in GoToMeeting virtual meetings. If your student is struggling with anything, with assignments, with how to turn the assignments in, they think there's a discrepancy in the gradebook, they must first talk to the teacher. If they are having difficulty with that, they then can talk with me, Ms. Eagleson. And if that doesn't resolve the concern, in some cases, I will suggest the parent get involved in the conversation. And in other cases, a student and parent may determine that the parent needs to get involved. Please make sure you follow those steps. It's great for the students to learn how to navigate difficult conversations with their teachers and work through being uncomfortable in difficult conversations. What is next? Well, we really don't know. Our world is changing rapidly and government agencies regularly share updates with schools. We know that the winter weather will require that some of our procedures need to be updated. We do promise to listen to our students, our families, and our employees and make changes to the schedules or to the procedures as necessary. Please make sure you keep up to date on the communications from St. Francis. If you do not regularly get the distance learning updates from the email news@stfrancishigh.net, please reach out to the main office to confirm your email address. And then finally, this is the schedule that we will be following beginning Monday morning, October 19th. If you have any questions regarding it, it is posted online. I will point out that Fridays has a flex period that may move, and in some cases, the students will be dismissed early from class and their obligations of attendance, and in other cases, the collaboration period will be during the school day and dismissal will be at 3 p.m. Thank you very much. Have a fabulous quarter two and go Sharks.
Thank you, Mrs. Eagleson. Your information is always so insightful and so inspiring. Here is what Sharks need to know about in-person live learning, dress code, logistics, and the all-important food question starting this Monday, October 19th. I'd like to first share with you our hybrid learning schedule. You can find it online at our website under the About section, Schedule, and Calendar. If you look at it, you will see that we offer tutorial each morning of live learning. We will open our school doors at 7:30 a.m. for all students. Students may begin entering through the gym foyer from 7:30 a.m. until the start of the academic classes at 8:45 a.m. Daily, while in-person learning is happening, we will offer tutorial. It will no longer be at the end of the school day. Tutorial is from 8 a.m. until 8:35 a.m. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. From 7:30 a.m. until 8:45 a.m., all students who enter campus must be in a teacher's classroom. There will be no loitering or hanging out as they used to do. No academic or athletic lockers will be open or used, so there'll be no reason to visit any lockers. Thank you to Mr. Calhoun and the fine Saturday school students that showed up today for securing all of our lockers on campus this last weekend. Students will have the option to wear sharkware every day. They may also choose to wear their school uniform. We know that Mary Mart has struggled with delivery while under COVID-19, so not all official uniform clothes may be in. On days students have physical education, we suggest they come in their PE clothes since the locker rooms are still locked. Please refer to the Student Family Handbook posted online under Quick Links for sharkware and uniform details. During the 3-week pilot program, all of our students met that full criteria, either wearing a uniform or wearing sharkware, and everybody was great. Upon arrival, all employees and students will have their temperatures checked as well as ensure that each one is wearing a mask. As stated in the reopening plan and all of my parent meetings, if an employee or student has symptoms, they will need to stay home. The Big 4 safety protocols are posted everywhere on campus, and students will be reminded about them throughout the day. They must wear masks at all times except when outdoors eating or drinking, must comply with social distancing, wash and sanitize hands constantly throughout the day, and do not touch their face or anybody else's face for any reason. If we do that, Sharks, we can all remain safe. Failure to follow these safety protocols falls under the traditional discipline rules like dress code violations and or any form of defiance. But I am confident that we will not have any major issues with compliance. I am also supremely confident that we will have to constantly remind all of our students about these Big 4 safety protocols. Next, I want to review the campus map with our new entrances, walking paths and directions, break and lunch areas, as well as exits. Please see the map here. When students enter in the morning, they will have 2 choices of directions they want to go. They can either exit the gym near Mrs. Sutherland's training room and Mr. DeWigg's visual and performing arts classroom to go to the art room or the D wing. All other students will enter through the side hallway of the gym so they can start the loop to get to the rest of their classes. Then, once the school day starts, you can see the articulated directions students and staff will take. Luckily, all of our classroom buildings are in a smaller 10-acre space, so the walks aren't too long. The interior of the school will walk in a clockwise fashion, while the backside near the outdoor basketball courts will walk counterclockwise. And who knows, Sharks, we all might get in a little better shape as a result of COVID-19 and these articulated pathways. For break and for lunch, the students will be in the following locations and the following groups as they voted. Seniors will be on the outdoor basketball courts and picnic tables near the pool. They will use the porta potties on the blacktop. Juniors will be on the green belt and what would normally be the freshman locker areas and the outside gym area near concessions. They will use the H-wing bathrooms, but only 2 at a time. The freshmen will be on the football field for break and lunch, and they will also use the H-wing bathrooms 2 at a time. Sophomores will be at the back of the school near the lake and on the switchbacks close to Mr. Osmond and Mr. Hazel's classrooms. They will use the E1 bathrooms, and again, Sharks, only 2 at a time. All locations will be supervised by office staff, administrators, and teachers. Consequently, the office may only have 1 person staffing it throughout the day, so we can provide supervision. We will also keep the school locked throughout the day to avoid extra people coming on campus, which is why Mrs. Eagleson went over what every student needs to bring each day. Because of this, we cannot accommodate parents, grandparents, boyfriends, or girlfriends bringing hot food to school for break or for lunch, or even after school before sports events. We are a closed campus during the day, Sharks. Speaking of food, with this video update, Mr. Castaneda will give you this week's ASB lunch menu and costs. We are still working with Jorge on getting his lunch truck back, but it may take another week or 2 until we get everything worked out. Like Mrs. Eagleson said earlier, we suggest your students bring all of their own food and drink along with some cash in case they want an ASB lunch. Sorry, no sharing of school supplies or food or drink. Interested. Sharks, we are all excited to launch into our hybrid learning platform. Like we did with the immediate switch to distance learning last year, our teachers and IT department are prepared. Our facilities are prepared. All of our HVAC systems have new filters in them, and our air scrubbers are in every office and in every classroom. Our stickers and signage on walls, in windows, is everywhere. Sharks, again, we are ready. Remember, we are the Sharks. We are stronger together, and together matters. Take care, God bless. I look forward to seeing all of you either in person live at school or online under the new hybrid learning model. God bless, Sharks.